Alrighty, everybody, what's going on? How's it going this evening? The time is now 6:46 p.m. Central and 7:46 p.m. Eastern. We are going live now because we just got some breaking new information. There has been a slight risk of severe weather issued for sections of the Tennessee Valley, so we are here to do some live severe weather coverage. Alright, this came as a massive surprise because in the first place, we really didn't have that much cape and wind shear crossover across the Tennessee Valley, and for a second thing, this 2% risk barely was put in place by the SPC last second, so it's very interesting to see that we now have an upgrade to a slight risk of severe weather for the Tennessee Valley, and not only that, this is driven by a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. Now, this is not yet updated on Radar Omega, but you can see there that we do have the little slight risk icon on the little tornado threat, the 5% tornado risk for sections of Kentucky and Tennessee. We're talking about areas like the Tennessee-Kentucky border areas near Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Again, this literally just came out minutes ago, so this is not quite updated yet on Radar Omega, but I can bring this up on your screen here, so give me just a second. This slight risk now going out for sections of Kentucky and extreme northern Tennessee. They're right up for the state line. Again, that is a slight risk of severe weather over areas in southern Kentucky. The tornado risk is in place there, a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. That includes, again, the southern portions of Kentucky and extreme northern Tennessee. If we take a look at some of the bigger cities included in that, we can see we've got Bowling Green, Kentucky, we've got Richmond, Kentucky, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Springfield, Tennessee, Danville, Kentucky, and surrounding areas there. We've still got ourselves that 2% risk surrounding it as well. That's going out for sections of the Ohio and Tennessee river valleys, right? So, again, we've got ourselves quite a night ahead of us, so let's just go ahead and jump into the forecasting here. Again, a 5% tornado risk now in place for sections of Kentucky and extreme northern Tennessee. So, again, please share this with a friend if you know anybody out here in this area, because this came as a massive surprise. Nobody was expecting this upgrade. We have not had ourselves really any significant severe weather at this point, any severe weather at all. We have not had a single severe thunderstorm warning today. We have not had a single tornado warning today. And sure, we've had some thunderstorms, and actually I got some cool lightning myself, but we have not had any severe weather yet today. So the fact that we have a slight risk at the very last second of this event, which, by the way, we are past what was expected to originally be the peak of this event, is just crazy. This is something that you will not see very often at all, if ever. You don't see a slight risk get issued last second for an environment this minimal. You guys will see what I'm talking about here over the next couple of minutes, but again, I'm going to try and share this on as many platforms as possible, and I encourage you guys to do the same. Again, this is going to be quite a night, it's looking like, surprisingly, as the Storm Prediction Center has issued a 5% tornado risk for sections of Kentucky, as well as extreme northern Tennessee. So give me just a second here. Slight risk issued. Let's go and get that community post out. Again, give me just a sec, guys, and we will get right into this. Slight risk just issued. Okay. So again, thank you all for joining me here. This is good to see the usual crowd back once again. Again, this stream came out of the blue. I was not planning on going live tonight at this point because I really did not think we'd end up seeing any severe weather. But here we go. We have an upgrade to a slight risk. So what's up, Gooseman, Foxy, Nolly, Orcs, Henry, Ethan, how's it going, everybody? Again, good to see everybody back here once again. Make sure to like the stream if you've not already. Make sure to subscribe. Let me just go ahead and very quickly get a little chat message typed up here, because again, I was not prepared for this, so that's my bad. I was not planning on going live so soon, but again, a slight risk has been put in place. This is breaking. So give me just a sec. So I'm just typing something out. What's up, Jesse? What's up, Sharon? Give me just a second here. All right. So, again, how's it going, everybody? What's up, Mr. Storm? What's up, Michelle? Jim, how's it going? The Radar Omega has not gotten the upgraded risk quite yet, but again, that slate risk will pop up literally any minute now. Again, actually, for a second, the tornado risk was going up there for sections of Kentucky and Tennessee. If we turn on the tornado risk again, it still only shows that 2%, but that will be updated here in just a second. And there we go, as soon as I say it. So again, that slate risk of severe weather in place there for sections of Kentucky and Tennessee. This includes areas like Campbellsville, Kentucky, all the way across the I-65 corridor. What's up, Indiana, Hamilton? When did they update it? Literally like 2 minutes ago. Initiating storms near Hopkinsville could be future tour producers later on. Let's check it out. Let's see what you're talking about here. So yeah, they're very, very early developing storms here. They don't have a lot of an environment to work out with right here. If we take a look at the shear in this area, sure, we can see that we do have quite a bit of it, and that's probably really the reason that we got that upgrade to a 5% tornado risk here. But I just can't believe they're doing that whenever the cape out here is 0 at the moment. Now, that will change, and over the next several hours, we will have a little bit of cape spill into this region, but it's really not that much. This is 2 a.m. I mean, we're still only going to be talking about, 600, 700, maybe 800 joules per kilogram of cape across this entire region here, so it's really nothing too crazy for these storms to work with, but with that significant wind shear, it may be all that these storms need to really just barely have that brief chance at producing some damaging winds or tornadoes. It looks like things kind of peak cape-wise around 5 a.m. here. We got that nice batch of cape over sections of western and south-central Kentucky up to 750 joules per kilogram in between I-65 all the way over towards I-24 there, just on the northwest area of Nashville, Tennessee there. So, again, we got to kind of see what ends up happening with this. We have not had any severe thunderstorms yet today, but that's because we haven't had any cape up here. We've had a wind shear, and we have had some thunderstorms. Again, I actually got some cool lightning myself, but areas all across the Ohio Valley have been dealing with some thunderstorms earlier today, and as you can see, we do still have some heavy thunderstorms traveling across sections of eastern Kentucky all the way back through areas like West Virginia. But if we play this out on the future track with the ARRR model, or sorry, that is actually a future scan, but it's pretty interesting because that's 5 a.m. and it's pretty similar to what right now looks like. But again, this is the right now view, okay? So we got thunderstorms there over sections of central Kentucky and southern Ohio, and another little batch of cells back into sections of east central Illinois. But these are going to kind of sweep out of here over the next few hours, and then this next batch of storms is really going to be what we watch. By 10 p.m., look at this. We've got discrete supercells there developing across sections of extreme southern Indiana, areas like western Kentucky. So we definitely could be talking about an isolated tornado with these cells, but we can see they really enter that prime environment really, really late tonight. I mean, we can't see the 3 a.m. scan for some reason on the 23Z ARRR, but we can see the 2 a.m., a lot of those supercells starting to make their way into that heavily caped environment and very heavily sheared environment. Again, we really do have quite an insane amount of wind shear for this event. I think if we had, 2,000-3,000 joules per kilogram of cape, this could be an enhanced or even a moderate risk of severe weather, but again, we just do not have any of that in place, which is making me question why the slight risk has even been added. But again, I don't want to say that this is going to guarantee, be a nothing burger event, all right? This is it's had a little bit of an uptick in the forecasting confidence over the last several runs of the ARRR and the last run of the NAM. Here's the NAM model for reference. If we take a look at the reflectivity on this again, we can see that right about now at about 7 p.m. we've got a lot of those thunderstorms over sections of eastern and central Kentucky, and we've also got some storms in Illinois moving over to Indiana as we are speaking here. And those will kind of get out over here in the next few hours. By 10 p.m. we see a few more cells developing, maybe in areas like southwest Indiana and northwestern Kentucky, but the big cells that get into that really primed environment tornadically at least, and again, it's really not even anything that crazy, but those don't come until 2, 3, 4 a.m. So this is really going to be one of those late night events. So again, make sure that you have a no weather radio on you, or at least a couple of ways to receive alerts. Again, you need to have at least one or two, because let's say maybe you rely on wireless emergency alerts. Well, what if the cell service goes down? You're going to need something else to wake you up than that's a phone alert. It's good to have a no weather radio, alright? One way to get alerts is tornado sirens, but those don't always activate, and they usually don't activate if it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. So we've really got to watch out for this here. Again, this is going to be quite the threatening event, just due to the fact that it is taking place in the very late nighttime hours where virtually nobody is awake. Sure, you got some people waking up early, but even those folks usually aren't up by 3 a.m., which is whenever the peak event is going to be getting going here. Again, again, really the main area that I would watch is kind of western and south central Kentucky here, areas like Bowling Green, Glasgow, Hopkinsville, maybe areas like Clarksville, Tennessee as well. This is the area where we are going to have those enhanced cape levels and supercells traveling through them while that happens, right? And again, obviously, wind shear is not an issue at all for this event. So something else that we do need to see if we're going to get thunderstorms and tornadoes is the storm relative helicity, and that is showing some significant values here as we go later into tonight. If we take a look at the future track on the HRRR, again, we can see by 2 a.m. that some of these areas, I mean, they are going to have some decent SRH, right? We're talking about 400 SRH in the first kilometer of the atmosphere in Hopkinsville, Kentucky by 2 a.m. tonight. And again, by 4 a.m., that really just continues to travel across sections of Kentucky and Tennessee. So again, if we were to see a tornado or two tonight, it would not be due to any crazy amount of cape, because again, that crazy amount of cape does not exist. But we do have some decent wind shear, and the SRH values are there. Again, I maintain the idea that if this had a better amount of cape, say 2,000-3,000 joules per kilogram, this could be an enhanced or even a moderate risk of severe weather driven by a 15-10% tour threat. But because we don't have any of that cape really in place here, the SPC has gone with a 5% tornado risk, and I really think they could have stuck with the 2% tornado risk. But we do have that 5% risk in place now, so obviously trust the Storm Prediction Center over me. They're the experts over there, but I'm just saying, very interesting call on their part. Now, severe weather is not the only thing that we're going to be watching out for with this system, all right? We've been talking a lot about it, but if we take a look at the northern side of this storm right now, we can see that we've actually got some freezing rain accumulating across sections of Ohio, West Virginia, Indiana, Illinois, and all the way back into northeastern sections of Missouri at the moment. And this has been something that's been going on all day as well, and it will continue to go on for sections of the Ohio Valley overnight. By 10 p.m., we're going to be dealing with a lot of that freezing rain and sleet falling across sections of northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and even areas like southern Michigan and southern Wisconsin. And that will continue to push eastward here. By 2 a.m., we're dealing with an absolute battle zone of precipitation over the Washington, D.C. area. Sorry about that. I had to kind of catch my breath there. And then that does kind of make its way into New England, and maybe even some snow there tries to develop on the backside of the system in northern New England. I wouldn't expect any crazy snow totals, but that brief, heavy snow really can pack a punch, so look out for that. We do have ice storm warnings in effect for sections of Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, and even Virginia there across Appalachia, which is pretty significant. All right, they have been mentioning the threat for, maybe a quarter, half inch of ice accumulates on those roadways, and that is very significant. All right, I know that doesn't sound like anything crazy, but if we take a look at the day one ice probability outlook to see more than a quarter inch of ice, we can see that we've got, what's going on, Sam? Thank you for the $2 donation. Let's get some Sams in chat. Why a slight risk? I know, right? Again, the main reason that we're likely seeing that in place is just due to the fact that we are going to have discrete supercells, and we are actually going to have a lot of wind shear to work with. But thank you very much for your $2 donation. It is greatly appreciated. Again, donating is optional, but we greatly appreciate the folks that do. So again, go ahead and get Sam on the donation board. Again, thank you very much for that $2 dono. Great stuff. So anyway, let's go and get right back into the swing of things here. Again, we are going to be talking about some significant ice accumulations overnight across sections of Appalachia and sections of the Ohio Valley as well. And some of the more significant ice accumulation could come over areas like the Appalachian Mountains. Again, areas around sections of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, maybe even the Washington, D.C. area. And this is a very small swath, but they have noted that there is a very small chance of some ice back here to central Ohio. Now remember, that is for a quarter inch of ice or more. You don't need a quarter inch of ice to make travel hazardous. It really only takes a few hundredths of an inch for that to happen, which is why we have winter weather advisories all across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast for today. Now, again, we are going to be talking about a severe weather event as well. However, I actually think the more significant thing will be the ice threat, all right? Again, heavy ice accumulating across Appalachia and the Ohio River Valley is a big deal since there are tens of millions of people facing that threat for damaging ice out there. And that is going to be extremely dangerous because that's going to accumulate overnight. People are going to wake up. They may not know that it's on the road. So if you know anybody out here, make sure to send them this stream because they're going to be waking up, and if they just drive straight into conditions like that, it can be very, very extremely hazardous. This also has the potential to bring us a few power outages. I would not expect anything to be widespread, but maybe across Appalachia we see a few thousand outages, so we'll kind of see what happens with that. So, again, what's going on, everybody? We got some crazy support in chat tonight. If you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and go over some snow in the New England area. Again, as we mentioned, we could be talking about snow in northern New England. What's up, Justin R. Wind Dancer Media? Thank you for tuning in. But right now, the winter weather outlook outlook here does show only a small swath of New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and southern Maine having that potential to get over 4 inches of snow. Again, the greater chance for that would be anywhere in the higher elevations in like Vermont or New Hampshire, for example. But I would not be surprised to see a good few inches of snow accumulate, and then again, maybe some isolated ice up there in portions of northern New England as well. So, again, snow, ice, severe weather. It's a trio here. I mean, it really is. It is going to be a three-way threat, and that threat's going to vary depending on where you're at. Again, we've got winter weather advisories going all the way from Nebraska to Maine. We've got a severe weather threat that stretches all the way from sections of Missouri all the way back through areas like West Virginia. And we've got a snow threat that encompasses basically all of New England. So this is going to be a very, very interesting event. Again, we were not expecting this slight risk. This came in at the last second, literally within the last, 20 minutes or so. Again, as soon as I saw that news, actually, Mr. Storm was the one that let me know, so thank you to him. I ran in here, we went live. We do have the 0Z run of the HRRR coming in right now, so we'll kind of see its thoughts on this event. But again, at the moment, we really don't have a whole lot going on severe weather-wise. We do have a few stronger thunderstorms out there in northeastern Kentucky, starting to intersections of southern Ohio. And really the only threat I could see with those is some flooding rains, right? These are going to accumulate some decent rain totals here across this region. If we take a look at the storm total precipitation, we can see that we are going to end up having a few inches of rain already accumulating there across sections of Kentucky and Ohio, and by the time this storm is over, it is going to be quite a bit more, right? So, again, yeah, I did not think it would get upgraded either, Sam. If anything, I thought they would cancel that 2% risk, but looking at it again, there is no lack whatsoever of wind shear. It really is cranking out there, especially across sections of Kentucky. Again, this is the kind of environment, I've said this several times this stream, but for those of you that haven't heard, if we had decent Cape out here, we could be talking about a full-on tornado outbreak. We've got discrete cells, we're going to have SRH, we're going to have wind shear. The only thing that we're going to be lacking is that Cape. The amount of Cape out here right now is none. Again, by 3 a.m., 4 a.m., we could be talking about maybe a few hundred joules per kilogram of Cape, but really still nothing that significant. If we take a look at the HRRR model here, again, for some reason 3 a.m. has a gap over it, and that's likely when this would peak, but if we take a look at 2 a.m., we can see that we are going to have, 600, 700, maybe 800 joules per kilogram of Cape across southwestern Kentucky, while we are going to have some discrete supercells out here in the area, but that's still really not enough to produce any sort of strong tornado threat. So if anything, it would be a brief tornado threat, but I do think that we could have that potential to get a very small severe thunderstorm watch issued over sections of southern Kentucky. It is quite questionable though, because this is a very weird event. Sometimes they issue tornado watches for 5% tour risks, sometimes they don't on lower end 5% days like today, but they're definitely not going to issue a severe thunderstorm watch either, because the threat for widespread severe weather is going to be quite low. So even though we have that slight risk with all hazards in play, I can't guarantee that this would be anything crazy. And thank you, Sam, for $2 donation once again. Yeah, lapse rates are also going to be pretty low. But again, the amount of low Cape is going to be the main thing. But again, W. Sam, thank you so much. No Cape, no Batman. But yeah, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Again, it is greatly appreciated. Again, donating is completely optional, guys. But I really do appreciate the folks that go above and beyond and do decide to do that. So thank you very much to Sam, again, for that $2 donation on top of the $2 dono from earlier. Great stuff. So anyways, let me know where y'all are tuning in from. Again, we've got a lot of people tuning in here tonight. I was not expecting such a crowd, but if you are new here, make sure to click that subscribe button. We do severe weather, winter storm, and hurricane coverage every day of the year whenever it is necessary, all right? We go live for events that nobody else is here for. We're here for this slight risk before anybody else on YouTube or anybody else on social media even really that had mentioned it. So, again, make sure to click that subscribe button if you want the severe weather updates first here out on this channel. Thank you for talking about the weather in Kentucky. No problem. But yeah, yes, very kinematics-based event indeed. Tuning in from Iowa, yeah, Iowa's going to be dealing with that significant ice accumulation threat. Again, maybe we're talking about a couple tenths of an inch of ice accumulating in southeastern Iowa, so that could be enough to cause some significant hazardous road conditions, so make sure to watch out for that. Tuning in from central Florida, Kentucky, Winchester, Kentucky, northeastern Oklahoma, Seattle, Washington. Let's check out Winchester, Kentucky in particular. That's specific town. Let's check it out. Yeah, so you're going to be in that marginal risk of severe weather. We generally think most of the severe weather activity will stay off to your south and your west, but you have been seeing some storms earlier today, and it is definitely possible that we see some more heavy rain overnight, but damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes probably not going to be a big thing for you. We got Long Island, Little Rock, Arkansas, South Central Kentucky, Rockcastle County. Where's Rockcastle County at? Let's check it out. I'm glad to see that we do have a bunch of folks tuning in from Kentucky, since that is going to be the main area of concern overnight. Yeah, Rockcastle County, there, your main mainly going to be looking at a damaging wind threat. If we take a look at the ARRR model, though, we couldn't rule out an isolated tornado overnight, but again, it's not very likely. If we take a look at things here, we can see you're going to deal with some more rain over the next few hours, but that tornado and damaging wind threat really comes about pretty late in the night for you. If anything, it's going to be tomorrow morning, 6, 7, 8 a.m. even, and you may honestly dodge all those storms. They may be all off to your north. Cedar Rapids, Ashland, Kentucky, Dayton, Ohio, Orlando, Florida, Mount Vernon. Let's check out Ashland, Kentucky. Let's see where that's at. Oh, I did not mean to go into drawing mode there. Ashland, Kentucky. There we go. Yeah, so you're going to be in that marginal risk of severe weather there. Really, we're just going to be watching for some flooding in your area. Again, you're getting those heavy thunderstorms right now, but you're not really going to have to worry with that batch of severe weather overnight. You're way far off to the north and the east of where this is happening. Anything for the Hazard, Kentucky area? Let's check it out. Hazard, Kentucky. Yes, you're going to be in that marginal risk of severe weather. Again, though, a lot of those thunderstorms are likely going to remain off to your west, severe-wise anyways. Again, maybe we could be talking about some isolated flooding, but even then, it's really probably not going to be that crazy, right? Maybe some rain overnight, maybe some thunderstorms early tomorrow morning, but nothing too crazy. We got Clarksville, Tennessee. Clarksville, Tennessee, right on the edge of that slight risk there. We definitely could be talking about some isolated damaging winds and tornadoes off to your north. Again, this is really the corridor where we think the most likely area is going to be for severe weather and tornadoes, but wouldn't rule out maybe some isolated thunderstorms in the Clarksville area. For sure, you are under that marginal risk of severe weather. Yeah, no problem, Jane. Again, if you're just not tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, Hog. Appreciate that. We're only 2 subscribers away from 3,270. Should we throw a live count up, chat? What are the main times for risk? Yeah, so like 3, 4 a.m. Again, mainly going to be watching southwestern Kentucky there. But that's mainly going to be the peak timing. And again, that's so unfortunate because that's like the one time a day where I'm not going to be able to provide any update whatsoever. We got Mike with the $5 super sticker. Thank you very much. Get some W Mikes in the chat. Amazing stuff. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Again, that really does help me out a lot here. So, thank you very much for that $5 dono, W Mike in the chat. Awesome stuff. Mike, $5. Slap it on the donation board there. Again, amazing stuff. Alrighty. Oops. Ooh, okay. We are lagging out here, chat. Stream running okay? On my end, things are quite laggy. Yeah, I really doubt that we would end up saying a tornado watch here. You have family in the 2 out of 5 slight risk. Yeah. Again, it would mainly be western Kentucky. No tour watch. So, if anybody wants to take care of that, any mods. We're at 3,269 subscribers, 1 away from the big 3,270. Again, we did post a video on this last night, late at night. I know I did not really... I wanted to experiment a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I wanted to see how that would affect the algorithm push. But we kind of talked about how this would likely be a big nothing burger more than anything else. But again, it looks like even that little bit of cape there was enough to prompt the Storm Prediction Center to issue a slight risk of severe weather. So we'll see what ends up happening. Again, pushing it this far east, having the 5% tour risk that far east is crazy activity in my opinion. I really don't think that should be in place there. In fact, I wouldn't even have it 2% in going this far east into Kentucky. Again, there's quite literally going to be, 300 cape max at the surface level. So probably not going to be watching for any significant severe weather. For reference, usually you need about 1,500, 2,000 joules per kilogram of cape to get severe storms and significant tornadoes to fire. In this event, the peak is going to be about 700. Now, normally with cape like that, we wouldn't be watching for tornadoes, but it is going to be that significant wind shear all across the Ohio Valley that we have been talking about that could be a problem. So if you're not aware, we have plenty of cape down here in Dixie Alley, and we got plenty of wind shear up here in the Ohio Valley, and the only area where we really have even a little bit of crossover there with that is over in parts of Kentucky and Tennessee, which is why that slate risk has been issued for that region there. I'm jumping in the lake if we get a tornado watch tonight. That would be probably pretty cold, but you do you. But yeah, severe weather right now, not going to be a problem. We're really not going to be watching until 3, 4 a.m. for any significant tornado threat. Now, Again, we're not going to be live at 3 or 4 a.m., so don't expect that. But I just thought we'd kind of get this forecasting stream out here. And again, we do have some severe weather, or not severe storms, but some stronger thunderstorms covering eastern Kentucky. And again, we've got that big old ice event out here across sections of the Ohio Valley. But I just figured this would be pretty beneficial to kind of update you guys on what we're forecasting for tonight. But again, we've got some freezing rain here already falling across sections of the Ohio Valley, and we really have all day anyways. But that is soon going to be moving into the mid-Atlantic region, so we'll be watching out for that. You'll film it if you get the 20 to watch, alright. You do that. And it is worth noting that we do have a severe weather risk tomorrow as well. I actually mentioned this, but we do have a marginal risk of severe weather in place tomorrow now for sections of Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia, and Tennessee. It's very weirdly shaped, and that's really just going to be the remnants for any of these storms that manage to, kind of re-spark. But also, we could be talking about a somewhat new batch of storms as well. If we take a look at the 18Z run of the HRRR so that we can get a full run here, we can see that we're going to be watching for some severe thunderstorms potentially across sections of Appalachia. Again, it's really going to be a late nighttime event similar to today, but we could be talking about some thunderstorms as early as, 3, 4 p.m. across sections of northern Tennessee. So we'll kind of see what happens. Again, no real tornado risk for tomorrow. They may add a very small 2%, but as of right now, they're sticking with no tornado risk. That is only being driven right now by damaging wind risk, actually. So we'll see. Whoops, I just did not mean to click on that. Okay. But anyway, how's it going? Yeah, SBC is not being conservative for today, that's for sure. Again, quite crazy to see a slight risk day on a day that has max 700 cape at the surface, so. But there you go. This is the first slight risk day that we've had of February 2025. Likely not going to have any chasers out here on this event because it will be 3 o'clock in the morning when these storms really have any sort of tornado threat. And, again, even then, it's not too much. So, again, the main problem with this event is that it is going to be nocturnal. So, folks are going to be sleeping. And, maybe a tornado warning gets issued or something. Folks don't know about it. That could definitely be problematic. So, again, in this area especially, do make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts on hands. And it has to be something that will wake you up at night. It can't just be, a little quiet notification that goes, ding, a tornado warning's here. It has to be, something that's loud, annoying. It has to wake you up. And if a tornado warning does get issued at all tonight, make sure that you know where you're going to go if that does end up happening. You want to get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building in an interior room. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get out. You got to get, preferably to a more substantial shelter. But I understand 3 o'clock at night, there's not a lot of places to go. So the best option if you're in a mobile home is to get out and lie flat in a ditch. It is better to be in a ditch than in a mobile home during a tornado. It sounds crazy, but it is true, and it is supported by science. Yeah, don't be scared, be prepared. But yeah. So again, I know you guys have been dealing with thunderstorms pretty much all day here across most of the state of Kentucky, and you may be thinking, is it done? The sad answer is no. Again, maybe you get a little break late tonight, but very early morning tomorrow. Again, we're going to be watching for that threat for some isolated damaging winds, large hail, and a brief tornado threat across southwest Kentucky especially. But at the moment, let's get an update on the sub count. We are at 3,270. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed tonight, and thank you to everybody that's donated. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in general, because it does help push this further into the algorithm for the people that need this update, because again, this slight risk just came in minutes ago. Again, crazy stuff. Here in Skiatook, we have a 1/10 of a mile visibility with the fog. That's crazy, yeah. That's another thing. It is somewhat foggy here across sections of Kentucky and Tennessee, so NOAA weather radios, make sure to test them before you go to sleep tonight, and if they don't end up working, you can turn it on to another station. I made a short about this the other night, but find your next closest station to you and tune into that, see if that helps clear up the fog. If not, you're just going to have to rely on, wireless emergency alerts, stuff like that. Oh, thank you, AJ. Yeah, there's really no secure place to be in a mobile home during a severe weather event. So, yeah, make sure you know where you might have to go if a tornado warning does get issued if you're in a mobile home tonight. Again, I would not be surprised to see a tornado warning tonight. The question is where, obviously, and unfortunately I can't answer that. If I had to give a broad guess, I would say somewhere in this general vicinity, but if we're being realistic, it really could be anywhere across, the southern half of Kentucky and the northern half of Tennessee tonight. So we'll see what ends up happening, but again, it's not like everybody in this light risk zone is going to see a tornado. It's not like any of you or not all of you are even going to see severe storms, but the few of you that do, that could be very impactful for you. What's up, random texting guy? I'm doing pretty good. The HRR model and the NAM are also showing significant tornado parameter values getting up there. If we take a look at the STP on the HRR here on the 23Z run, we can see that we do have a swath across pretty much the entire state of Kentucky here that has a significant tornado threat. Now, again, it doesn't matter what the STP shows unless there's actually storms in the area. So, for example, this, blob of, what is this, like 4 or 5 up here in central Kentucky? I guess not, it's about 3. Again, 3 a.m. probably has like a 4 or 5 somewhere since that's peak timing, but for some reason it's just not popping up. But that is not really going to matter too much just due to the fact that simply we are going to have storms in the area, but if we take a look at the CAPE values here, the surface-based CAPE, again, you got, 500 joules per kilogram, so you're not really going to have a chance at any significant tornado threat out here into central Kentucky. Again, it really only just briefly gets high enough across southwest Kentucky, just for a short period of time in northwest Tennessee, at least to the point where we may have a brief tornado threat. Again, it peaks at 900 joules per kilogram in northwest Tennessee around 1-2 a.m., and we won't even have storms out there in northwest Tennessee at that point quite yet, so it'll be pretty interesting to watch. Again, this is a very, very gutsy move, we'll say, for the Storm Prediction Center to issue this 5% tornado risk over such a large area. So we'll see if that pays off for them, but I'm just going to tell you guys right now it's probably not. But we'll see. Again, it's better to, over-forecast than to under-forecast and say absolutely nothing's going to happen, because that's definitely not true. We definitely could end up seeing some thunderstorms tonight, but widespread tornadoes, probably not. Happy birthday, random texting guy. My birthday is in 4 days here. It's Super Bowl Sunday is my birthday. So again, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. I know we got a lot of new folks tuning in tonight. What's up, Kansas weather watchers? And yes, the GFS does show multiple winter storms unfolding across the next few weeks here across the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and the Central Plains. If we take a look at the precipitation type forecast, we can see that obviously we've got this system moving through here, but this is going to be a significant pattern that we're in here for the next little while, because look at this. That system moves out of there pretty soon, sure, but by the 8th and the 9th, we're going to be dealing with the exact same thing pretty much across the exact same area. Severe weather in parts of Kentucky potentially, and then also a winter storm impacting sections of the Ohio Valley and the Midwest there. And after the 8th, 9th system, it's looking like we could have a 10th, 11th system for the same exact thing. Severe weather down in Dixie Alley and snow down into portions of Kentucky this time around. And then after that, it gives us another one and another one and another one. Now, at this point, whenever we're 230 hours out, it's quite unreliable to forecast purely based off of what the GFS shows, because everybody knows 250 hours or more out, you don't trust the GFS. Some folks say 200. I still think there's a little bit of merit in a 200-hour GFS scan if it has had a signal for something, but it's still going to be something that we have to watch out for. Now, again, these are complete bogus. There's no reason to trust exact totals with this. We're not even going to look at exact totals in too specific here, but do note that these areas that are highlighted in those red and those pink colors, and even the bluish colors, are going to have that threat for some significant winter storms here potentially at some point over the next couple of weeks. Now, not everybody in there is going to see a winter storm or anything, but there's a good chance that some of you do. Again, this is just this kind of somewhat typical, somewhat active February pattern that we're in here. Again, Punxsutawney Phil, he forecasted 6 more weeks of winter, and this time around that could be somewhat true. But again, even so, Dixie Alley and the Tennessee Valley are more so going to be dealing with a severe weather threat than anything else from this pattern. It's not like you're going to have any more snow this winter. I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's a very low chance that anybody down here in Dixie sees any more snow. But you know what? You guys got Winter Storm Enso, and that was the biggest winter storm pretty much anybody down here has seen in their entire lives. So hopefully you guys don't don't think too little of this winter. 2024-2025 winter was incredibly active, which is nice to see because it has been so long since we've had a somewhat active winter, but it's a little sad to see at the same time because obviously, you got like wrecks, pileups, everything like that, all that nasty stuff happening to folks out here in areas that have been impacted over the last few months from winter storms. But still, it is somewhat cool to see, admittedly, as a big weather enthusiast, because this is really the first big winter that we've had since I've been into weather. I mean, the past few years have really been nothing exciting in general. Obviously, 2023, 2024, sure, we had an Iowa ice storm, we had a Plains blizzard, but what did we really get? Not a whole lot. This year, we had Winter Storm Blair that, shut down pretty much the entirety of I-70 across the Midwest. We had Winter Storm Enzo that brought record-breaking snow totals to Dixie Alley. We had Winter Storm Cora that brought a huge ice storm to sections of the south central United States here. By the way, I said Iowa ice storm for 2023-2024. I meant Arkansas, not Iowa. I was so happy to finally get some snow in northeast Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, it's not completely impossible that we see some more out here for the rest of this winter, so don't let your hopes down. Again, tonight you're going to be dealing with something different, though. Got some thunderstorms out there. A lot of people don't like thunderstorms, but I certainly do. I saw my first lightning today of 2025. That is not my first lightning ever. In the Midwest, you don't get away with seeing no lightning in your life, but first lightning strike of 2025. Coming in about the same time as usual. Usually it's sometime early February. Last year it was on my birthday. It's a pretty good birthday present. This year it's a few days before. But, whatever. Same difference. So again, those storms continue to chug along there right now in southern Kentucky, northern Tennessee. Really the only thing to watch out for here would be some heavy rain and some lightning. But as long as you're indoors, which I'd imagine everybody is at this time of night, you'll be just fine. I have a major thunderstorm phobia, so I won't be sleeping until tomorrow night, lol. Well, the good news for you is if you're in northeastern Kentucky, there's really no chance of a tornado, and there's a very small chance of damaging winds. That's why we have the marginal risk out here. It's not like we have a tornado risk this far north, but a damaging wind risk does exist. We are going to have some stronger thunderstorms come in, midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m., but as long as you have multiple ways to receive alerts, you are going to be just fine. I can assure you that this is not going to be any life-changing event for you. There's really no reason to be worried in any way about these storms. If anything, just take it as a cool experience to witness, because you don't always see thunderstorms in February in Kentucky. So again, just try to put yourself at ease. And again, even if you're in the slight risk of severe weather tonight, obviously not everybody's going to see a tornado. In fact, 95% of you guys won't see a tornado. Only 5% of you guys will, according to the risk put in place by the SPC. But in all seriousness, again, most of you guys aren't going to see a tornado tonight. I would not be surprised to see a brief spin up somewhere in southwestern Kentucky especially, but overall, I don't really think that we're going to have any, life-changing event for anybody tonight. So if you're worried about thunderstorms, destroying your home or anything, it's really not that kind of event here. And on the new run of the HRRR, the discrete cells don't even develop until later at night. And at this point, by 5 a.m., you're going to be dealing with a really not so great environment. It'll still be somewhat significant with wind shear and Cape down here in south central Kentucky. Wind shear will be quite a bit. Cape will be a little bit, but I really wouldn't bet on anything major, but again, it's maybe looking like this is going to be an even later event now. Instead of a 3, 4 a.m. event, this honestly could be a 5, 6 a.m. event. This could be more tomorrow morning than late tonight, which would actually be a little bit better because obviously people are going to be awake at this point, or at least some people will. Not everybody, but if you got to go to work tomorrow or school tomorrow, which most of you will, probably most of you guys will be up by 5 or 6 a.m. Still have multiple ways to receive alerts on hands, but we're talking about NATOcast. NATOcast has a 5% tornado threat for this, just like the SPC does. It's actually a little bit smaller than the Storm Prediction Centers, but it does still span across sections of northeast Kentucky and southeast Tennessee, which I think is quite weird personally, but I mean, it could play out like this. We've had several events in the past couple of years where I've been very surprised that NATOcast has been really surprisingly accurate, but it's all computer generated, so again, take it all with a grain of salt. But, SBC outlooks are based off of computer generated things, so I have 3/8 of a mile visibility here in Little Rock, major fog happening. Yeah, dense fog advisories out there for central Arkansas right now. What's up, Cardboard? Yeah, we were talking about that again. The second it went slight risk, I rushed in here because you don't see a slight risk every day in February in Kentucky. And again, this event really had no reason to go slight, in my opinion, but the SBC threw it out there, and again, obviously those folks over there know much more than I do, so trust them. But I'm just saying I would not be surprised if we did not see any tornadoes tonight. Again, I think a brief spin-up is possible somewhere in southwest Kentucky, maybe causing some significant damage, but even then, I really wouldn't bet on that. What's up, Bike X, Boss? Winds peak 4 or 5 a.m. Again, the area would be southwest, south-central Kentucky. Again, new HRRR run suggests maybe, 4 a.m. we get some discrete supercells across southwest Kentucky and extreme northwest Tennessee to potentially produce an isolated tornado or two, so we'll see what happens, but I'm a little north of the slight risk. Just remember, you could always see severe storms and tornadoes, even if you're not in the highest risk of severe weather, but in this event, it's somewhat unlikely. What's up, Mr. Twister? How's it going? Again, make sure to like and subscribe if you've not already. We are now at 3,270 subscribers. So thank you guys very much. Support has been pretty crazy over the past couple of days, actually. Let's see if we can get this stream to 50 likes. We're now at 45. Yeah, it's always annoying when that happens, Mr. Twister. Luckily, I haven't had it happen to me too many times, but there have definitely been times where I get done recording, I upload, and then I see, oh, great, now all that info is outdated because there's new risk from the SBC. That's why I always try to make sure that there's no major SBC updates coming out whenever I upload. But what's up, Hannah? And if there is, I always mention, hey, this may change soon. We got a new SBC outlook coming out. What's up, Cookie? I'm doing pretty good. How about you? We did actually have a significant wildfire threat today out here in portions of New Mexico and Texas, mainly being driven by the fact that we do have extremely dry conditions out here, obviously, and we do have some damaging winds as well that were in place for sections of New Mexico today. So, again, any elevations of winds whenever it's that dry out, really anything can spark a fire at that point. So a critical wildfire risk remains in effect for sections of east central New Mexico, but the threat should generally go down here. We did actually just get a special weather statement issued. It's for portions of Washington and Idaho. We've had a few of these out here over the past few hours. We do have some snow squalls moving through. So Spokane, Washington, make sure you're trying to avoid travel if at all possible. Sam, thank you for the gifted membership. Greatly appreciated. Get some W Sams in chat. Congratulations to Needs Improvement. You just got a Davis Does Weather membership. So let's go and update that. A membership is $5. By the way, there's going to be a members-only video tonight. So make sure, if you want to see exclusive content, you get early access to certain videos as well. Custom stickers to use in chat, stuff like that. Show them off, members. Then make sure to become a member. But thank you to Sam for the gifted membership. Again, it is only $5 for a slight risk membership, so I would highly encourage you guys to do so if you are a big fan of this channel and you want to see exclusive content, early content, stuff like that. I wish I was a meme member. It's funny. By the way, it does actually look like we're having some thunder ice out here right now across sections of west central Indiana. The radar is showing this being ice accumulation, and yeah, that would certainly be the case if it's about 30 degrees out here. But it's also showing some lightning, so we've got thunder ice out here, which is a very rare event to see. Would not encourage really going outside and trying to witness that just due to the chaos that would be. I definitely don't try and travel in something like that, but still pretty cool to see. Welcome back, Indiana Hamilton. Might go live tonight, Davis. Alright, bet. Will there be more members? Will there be more members only next time. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been great about putting those out over the month of January. Again, this is kind of the first month we got it set up. I think we only got one short out. We got a few community posts, so sorry about that. I'm going to be trying to get better at doing stuff like that this month. January was just very active. Obviously not with severe weather, but you got to keep in mind, we did have Winter Storm Enzo, which shattered snow totals, records down here in the Deep South. We had Winter Storm Blair that was a huge problem for the Ohio Valley in terms of traffic and stuff. We had a tornado outbreak from that as well that produced significant tornadoes in Dixie. We had wildfires tearing up, the Los Angeles metro. So just keep in mind it was a very busy month, but in February, it looks like things are going to be slightly less active. So we will try to get more members-only content out for you guys. Now, I still think that February could have a few winter storms and severe weather events, but I don't think it'll be anything like January. I think severe weather-wise, actually, it could be more intense than January, just because January was so lackluster. But in terms of like winter storms and stuff, I don't think really much can rival January this year. But yeah, we'll have a members-only video releasing tonight. It is going to be, it's nothing crazy, but kind of just a little bit of footage and some conversation about some thunderstorms that I got today. Saw my first lightning of 2025, so that's a W. It was a rough start to 2025, those first 2 weeks, especially for weather, yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the first 2 weeks alone, we had, Blair, we had California wildfires, we had Cora, the Northeast winter storm, the D name, I don't remember what it was. Actually, I think that was outside of the first 2 weeks, but still. It's up to Hani. I love whenever people recognize each other in chat. It's just the funniest thing to me. Florida's had more snow than you in one fall while you're in Canada. That's hilarious. Alright, see you, Goose Man. Thank you for tuning in. Can I do Wilton, Iowa? You're getting nervous. Well, I can assure you right now there's no reason to get nervous considering this is just an ice event. At this point, as long as you're not traveling, which I'd imagine you're not at this hour of night, you're going to be fine. Just be careful tomorrow morning if you have to do any traveling. Again, roads could be somewhat slick, but we're not expecting any crazy ice accumulations. Maybe up to 1/10 of an inch, which is still definitely enough to cause some slippery conditions out there, but it's not going to be anything like what we're going to see in the Washington, D.C. area, the Appalachian region, so just keep that in mind. While sure it's going to be a little bit scary, it could be a lot worse, and, conditions are not going to be really anything too crazy in Iowa. I'm in southern Kentucky. It feels like it's warming up fast. If you're talking about severe weather-wise, these storms are going to move their way out of here. If you mean warming up fast in like a metaphorical sense, they're going to move their way out of here. And that next batch isn't going to come for southern Kentucky until, very late at night. Depending on where you're at, it could be anywhere from 3 a.m. all the way to as late as 7 a.m. until you get that real severe threat. But yeah, make sure to look out. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts tonight because we are going to be talking about isolated tornadoes and damaging winds impacting. Again, make sure to subscribe if you are new here. We are the only channel live for this right now, I believe, forecasting it anyways. Again, we were live here the second I saw that slight risk get issued. Thank you, Mr. Storm, by the way, for letting me know about that. We hopped on here, and, we're doing an hour conversation. We're helping everybody know that their forecast for their area and what they can expect, because it is somewhat hard to get, reliable weather information on an event this complex from, just your typical, Apple weather app. Like, the Apple weather app for this event, it'll say strong thunderstorms for the entire state of Kentucky, no matter what area you look at. But the definition of strong thunderstorms is greatly going to change. I mean, you talk eastern Kentucky, you could just be talking about some lightning and some heavy rain. But if you're down here in southwest Kentucky, you could be talking about tornadoes. So strong thunderstorms, just saying that doesn't really cut it, Yeah, let's see if we can get this stream to 50 likes. We are at 51. We did it. When I was walking the bus, the ice on the ground was thick. Wow. Rain/freezing rain in central Indiana now. Yeah, again, we were talking about that. We actually could have some thunder ice, which is not a term that we use very often, but it has happened a few times here recently. But again, we got freezing rain and we got lightning developing here as well across west central Indiana. So again, I don't want to encourage, going outside and looking at that kind of stuff because that is a little dangerous. But if you can do so safely, under maybe a porch or something, or even just look at it through your window, I recommend doing so because that is just such a cool experience. I'd imagine that you maybe only get to see, once or twice in a lifetime. So please make sure to do that if you can do so safely, if you're at all interested. I mean, it really is like seeing the eclipse. I mean, that is just such a cool thing. In my opinion, that'd be cooler than seeing the eclipse, but that's just because I am a big weatherhead, so. On a PDS tour warning day, it said partly cloudy. That's crazy. Yeah. Again, people flame me for saying this, and they say I'm a terrible weatherman, but everybody in the WX community, I feel like, knows that the Apple Weather app really is not based in any science whatsoever. It is mostly hokum. It'll take one run of one model, and it will use that as their entire forecast for the entirety of an event. So, about 10% of the time, it's 100% accurate. It's a funny thing to say it like that. It's about 10% of the time they're 100% accurate, but 100% of the time they only get it right about 10% of the time. That made no sense. Somebody clip that, please. That was the funniest thing I've ever said unintentionally. WX means weather, Brady. It's just a shortened term for weather. But yeah, again, those winter weather advisories stretch all the way from Maine back through Nebraska. Again, freezing rain and snow are going to be possible everywhere in those regions. Again, we're really only going to be talking about snow in, northern New England. Everywhere else is just going to deal with freezing rain if you're under a winter weather advisory. For the most part, that is. But by the way, yesterday's event actually did leave some scars here on sections of the west coast of California with those severe thunderstorms. If we actually turn on the spotter reports here from the last 72 hours, we'll say, if it would like to load, that would be incredible. There we go. We've got ourselves, again, a few reports there on the west coast of California. We have a report of a power line down on Altamont Pass Road near Grant Line Road in Alameda County, California. We had a report of a large tree down in Saratoga. We had a report of a large low-hanging branch on top of a car in Live Oak. We had a tree hanging over, highway again there in West California. Again, trees down, just stuff like that. Pretty crazy. Lag? Do we have lag, chat? That does happen sometimes. I don't notice it. And we did actually have a lightning strike that for some reason got pushed onto the lightning strike report section. Usually that's reserved for lightning strikes that end up doing damage, but yeah. Again, the main thing was flooding. As you can see, all those flooding reports across California there. And then obviously snow as well in the higher elevations, but does anybody else have lag? Let me know. And this big old cluster of thunderstorms may pack a punch with some gusty winds moving towards Monticello, Kentucky. Some heavy rain, definitely, but nothing severe-wise. I got no lag. Yeah, California is because of that atmospheric river that we had yesterday. On your 180 hertz 1440p monitor, yes. Okay. Some people are saying no lag, and some people are saying they've got bad lag. Mike says no lag. No, it's not rotation, Blake. If you look, this is actually from a cell merger, so there's no way that it combines and creates rotation that fast. That's just an elevated pocket of winds. No, it looks like rotation at first glance, but it is not. It's getting a bit better. My Apple weather app said severe weather when we're getting snow and under a winter weather advisory. I would imagine that's just because you are somewhere like along the Ohio River where, the forecasting was quite uncertain, because there's a very thin line in between the folks that are going to see freezing rain and severe thunderstorms, but still, that's just crazy. I should have my own weather app. I have been told that a few times, but I'm not nearly smart enough to do that. Figure out how to run it and everything like that. Maybe one day, whenever we have a whole, tech corporation behind us. But for now, I think we're good doing the streams. I do think what Ryan Hall did with Y'allbot is pretty awesome. I know a lot of people really don't like the idea of that, but I think it's pretty cool to have a constantly running forecasting stream that covers everywhere across the country and does it far more accurately than any, standard weather app could. Not talking about, Radar Omega or Radar Scope or anything like that, but just, the Apple Weather app, AccuWeather, stuff like that. If you want to forecast for the entire country accurately, do it like Y'allbot. Small lag, but stopped. I like it a lot. Lot of lightning, according to our Louisville radar there with our Indianapolis ice. So this is actually, again, if you go out here in Waveland or Rochdale or Rockville, Ladoga, Crawfordsville even, maybe Greencastle, maybe even, you are going to have quite an event to watch. Again, it is not too often that you will see lightning with freezing rain. Sam, my setup is lagging like crazy. Make it make sense. Unfortunately, I cannot. Thank you for the $2 donation, though. It is greatly appreciated. Again, you have helped out a lot tonight, so thank you for that. Again, donating is completely optional, but let's get some W Sams in the chat, because he's a real one. He's been here for so long, and he is greatly helpful. So thank you very much, Sam, for the $2 dono. I don't want Davis to explode in popularity, because it's nice to be able to actually chat with people about the weather every second, and there's not 50 messages every second. Well, you see, I've thought about that, and the way I would want to work around that, not really Zionsville. Where's Zionsville? I know I've heard that. It's somewhere in southwest Indiana, but let's find it really quick. I think it's further south than this. Oh no, it's further north. Well, I will tell you, that is going to be moving towards Zionsville over the next several minutes, so get excited for that. But, I have thought about that, and there are ways that we can still communicate with everybody. We could have, maybe moderators, helping out with chat more. We could, do things like turn on subscribers only mode, which we have done for several streams before. And there are ways to make sure that we are reading everybody's messages, even if, there were 300, 400, even 500 people watching. By the way, the power outage tracker has updated. It does look like these storms do definitely have some significant damaging winds because they have knocked out power for several thousand customers across south central Kentucky. We got about 400 in Monroe County without power, 500 in Berrien County, 350 in Edmonson County, and 2,500 in Warren County without power. So, again, these storms are definitely producing some gusty winds, as we mentioned just a moment ago. So we'll see if this gets a special weather statement or anything. Yeah, the lightning traveling through plumbing thing is not a myth, but I can say it does not happen to everybody. If you actually, had to use plumbing for whatever reason, there's a very low chance that lightning actually travels through it and, you get struck and die. But it has happened before, reportedly anyway. I didn't like y'all bought it first, but it's great on 24-hour. Yeah, I like how it is a 24/7, constantly running thing, and that isn't going to change anytime soon. It's just an insane way to make extra money as well. I'm sure he's made thousands of dollars off that already, and it's only been going for a few weeks with the extra channel stream. I mean, he gets donations, every few minutes, so he probably makes more off that than he does his main channel, honestly. I don't know that for a fact, but just based off of the knowledge on YouTube, ad revenue, and donations, I guess he probably makes more off his second channel than his main right now. Speaking of second channels, self-promo time. We have a second channel now called Davis Does Games, and we are one subscriber away from the big 50. We've been posting some shorts over there, and they have been exploding, so thank you guys for that. Gonna do gaming content on there, so if you like my personality or if you just like gaming in general, make sure to go check out that channel. Attempting to see lightning to see if it's worth trying to record. Yeah, unfortunately I did not get the lightning on video today that I saw, but and there may have been a couple strikes that I missed as well, but I'm not certain on that. There was one strike, though, that definitely happened, and it was big, and it was loud. The thunder was. And it was close. I got a little lightning tracker app, and then obviously Radar Omega as well helps, but the strike was measured about a mile away. So, been watching for Ryan for a while. Great guy for weather, super reliable. Yeah, for sure. Currently writing a 5-paragraph essay about a gustnado going over my house a few years back. Okay. I don't think we have any of our chasers live right now. I tried to check everybody before we went live here. I don't think anybody is currently chasing, because again, this is going to be, a 3, 4 a.m. thing, and nobody wants to go out at that time. And most of our chasers aren't even out in this area at the moment. We got a lot of folks in California covering the winter storm, storm intermedia being the obvious one. I made sure to jump in there last night, tried to send some help their way financially. Obviously, it's nowhere compared to what they've done for me, but tried to give back just a little bit. But yeah. And then Justin R. Wind Dancer Media. That's another one that we have gotten permission from to use. He's currently still in Little Rock, Arkansas. He was in here earlier. John McKinney, I believe, is all the way up in the northeast. And PA Storm Trackers are not out for this event, I believe. I believe they are staying back home in good old Pennsylvania. Yeah, I saw that. I got a notey from his Discord. We're now at 58 likes. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're not already. We do severe weather, winter storm, and hurricane coverage every day if necessary. Last year, we provided hundreds of hours of coverage and even helped some folks through some of the most significant weather events, including the Greenfield, Iowa tornado, the Western Kentucky tornado. We had, Port Arthur, Texas. We covered Elkhorn. We covered Minden. We covered Every single Tory pretty much that was in a certain time frame, we had, coverage for every single hurricane. We really did try to help as many people out as possible last year, and again, this year will be even bigger now that we are monetized and we do have the potential to do this as a part-time thing, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm not Sigma, that's unfortunate. Mr. Twister, it's not impossible based on the latest trends for Summit, but that's all I'll say on that right now. I'm going to zip my lip. I'm going to say nothing else about it. Because I don't want to confirm anything that's not probably going to happen. But I will say, I agree. That would be pretty cool. That's all I'll say. We definitely have not talked about that behind the scenes. Totally. I think Max is live on his second channel. Or no, he just posted a vid. I might, Mr. Twister. I don't know. It depends. Probably. I'm not Sigma. That's a rip. Oh, yeah, I'm going to clip from the heck out of it. But I'm also going to try to enjoy it. I'm not just going to, be shoving cameras in everybody's faces and, walking around recording the whole time. I want to enjoy the experience. But I'm definitely going to try to get some content out of it for all those folks that couldn't come. Well, my twisted driving skills haven't been known to be the best, but I'm taking driver's ed this semester, so we'll see. Right now, I think I have an A in the class, so that's good news. Or a B, maybe. I don't know. No, I definitely don't have an A+. Let's check it out. Why are we doing this on stream? I don't know, but we are, so... Nope, messed that up. No, dang it. It is... Brody, where is it? Why can I not find it? It's a B, yes. High B. You have a C in math? That is a rip. What do I have in math? Why are we talking? No, why are we doing this right now? Why am Snow squalls are now moving through Spokane. Crossing I-90, so again, if you're traveling in this area, try to get off the road here, especially since it's late at night. It's going to be very hard to see. But yeah, just one last time, make sure to like and subscribe if you've not already. Again, we're going to be here for hundreds of hours, I'm sure, this year. Honestly, if not thousands of hours, that may be a little bit of a stretch, but between videos and streams, we will be putting in thousands of hours of work this year for severe weather, winter storm, and hurricane coverage. By the way, every single one of those aspects look like they could pop off this year. So make sure to subscribe if you have any questions about your location. I'm pretty much active all the time. Leave a comment. I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible for any event throughout the country. So again, make sure to like and subscribe. And I think we're going to end off here. So again, thank you all for watching the stream. We will not be live for this event tonight, unfortunately, as it happens. As unfortunately, it will be at about 4 a.m. But if things are still significant by the afternoon time hours with the resparking of storms, we may be live briefly tomorrow afternoon. So again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace. Oh, my camera's still backwards. It was backwards that whole stream, bro. I didn't even realize I had the mirror filter on. Let's fix that before we end off. It's not a horrible thing. I don't really care, but